At the family picnic, my sister lifted her glass and said, "To the one who shows up broke, needy, and still hoping to matter." My parents laughed. I raised my drink and said, "To the desperate one who just closed the account funding your rent." The silence that followed was beautiful. Already regretting showing up, I then watched my sister unload a designer cooler from the back of her boyfriend's car. The thing looked like it cost more than a normal family's entire monthly grocery bill, yet there she was, smiling like some lifestyle influencer, placing it beside a hand-woven picnic basket and a monogrammed blanket. My mom waved me over without much enthusiasm. My dad gave that distracted nod he always used, the one that pretended I hadn't just walked in. I dropped my plastic grocery bag onto the table corner. Inside, off-brand chips and 2 cans of soda. I didn't even bother pretending to care. The rest of the family was already there. Cousin Rebecca, who never pays for a thing but always has her nails done. Aunt Joanne, who still thinks my name is short for mistake. The whole scene carried that artificial warmth families like ours pull off in public when they want to look united, but deep down can't stand each other. I was the only one not bothering to hide it. 2 hours of passive-aggressive jokes followed. Teased for being single, for not dressing up, for not smiling enough. My mom dropped a line about how some of us knew how to grow up. My dad chuckled like he got the punchline. I let it all slide. That was the game. They mock, I ignore, and life keeps moving. But then, my sister decided she needed her spotlight. She raised her overpriced glass of wine and called for attention. The family got quiet. They knew she loved to toast like it was a wedding. Here's to the one who always shows up broke, discouraged, but still trying to be important. Laughter filled the air. Even my mom, even my dad. Not me. I lifted my cheap plastic cup of flat soda, held it up like she did, and said, "To the desperate man who just closed the account paying someone's rent." Nobody laughed. For the first time in years, I had their full attention. Somewhere, a kid cried. A bird flapped away. My sister's smile shattered like a dropped plate. My mom's eyes darted at my dad, who stared into his cup like he could hide inside it. I didn't explain, didn't flinch. I just finished my drink, wiped my hands, and stood. "I'll be heading out." Silence. No one asked where I was going. No one asked if I was okay. That was the magic of this family. I flipped their whole world upside down, and they still pretended it wasn't happening. 8 days later, my phone buzzed. "Rent. Can you send the usual $1,200? I ignored it at first, went for a walk, bought myself lunch, read, napped. Hours later, I finally replied, "No." She tried to call. I let it ring out. Then came the texts. "What do you mean, no? Are you serious? You can't just stop. It's hard right now. Ethan's still looking for work. I'm already behind." I told her to move back in with our parents. They had space. She called that ridiculous, said I was being vindictive. I told her it was time for her and Ethan to grow up and live within their means. That didn't sit well, so she ran to our parents. The next day, a long voicemail from my mom, calm on the surface, furious underneath. "We're family. We help each other. You're blowing things out of proportion." I texted back, "If you're that worried, you can help her. Don't ask me to keep paying people who treat me like trash." An hour later, my dad called. "So you're cutting her off? For real?" "Yes," I said. "And by the way, you'll want to handle the mortgage, too. I'm not paying your $3,400 next month either." Silence. Then laughter. The kind that says, "You wouldn't dare." But I did. I dared. For the first time in my life, I enjoyed watching the world tilt my way. They thought I was bluffing. That's what made it funnier. Like I hadn't been quietly covering their bills nearly a year while they acted like I owed it to them. 2 days later, Mom called again, pretending to check in. I ignored it. Then she sent an old picture of her dog, probably to soften me. Still, no reply. Rent day came and went. My sister sent frantic texts. "Mason, I'm getting eviction warnings. You can't just cut me off. This isn't just hurting me, it's hurting Ethan too. You said you'd help until we got stable." I finally responded. 7 months. That's long enough to get stable, or at least move somewhere affordable. She tried guilt, said I was heartless, said she was crying. "Then we might have to break our lease. Move back in with Mom and Dad." I replied instantly. "Perfect. That's exactly what I suggested. Sounds responsible." She went quiet. I knew what she really feared, not the moving, the shame. She'd spent years building an image of being successful, put together. Moving home would destroy that, and worse, prove I was right. Later that night, Dad called. "We spoke to your sister. She told us about the rent. What's going on with you?" I told him plain I was done. He mumbled about disrupting family balance. I asked what balance? Me working 70-hour weeks while they mocked me between bank transfers. Then he brought up the mortgage due in a few days. Did I really plan on leaving them hanging? I reminded him, I gave my warning at the picnic. He didn't believe me then. I meant it. He hung up. That weekend, Mom texted, "You don't understand how hard it is. We've been counting on you. We thought we were a team." I wrote back, "You didn't treat me like a teammate. You treated me like an anxious ATM." No reply. Days passed. Quiet. Then my sister posted a photo of her and Ethan packing boxes, caption, "New beginnings." I knew the truth. She wasn't moving forward. She was moving back into her childhood bedroom, and downhill it went. Week 2, my mom called again, no calm voice this time. "So you're seriously cutting us off?" "Yes, you wouldn't dare. I already did. 3 months I'd been paying their $3,400 mortgage, quietly. No thanks. They said it was temporary until Dad's pension cleared. That was 4 months ago, so I stopped. A week later, a cousin told me the house was in pre-foreclosure. Turns out no one knew I was paying. Everyone thought they were managing fine. When I was helping, it was invisible. The second I stopped, I became the villain. They turned on each other. My sister blamed my parents blamed her. My mom blamed Dad for assuming I'd always fix things. Without me, they couldn't function. But when I was helping, they treated it like an obligation. Week 4, my sister was back home, not humbled, acting like she was doing them a favor. She and Mom fought non-stop. Dad quietly Googled noise-canceling headphones. Ethan didn't last, left after a few days. From Xbox nights downtown to sharing a bathroom with 3,000 decorative towels. I didn't blame him. But the best part? They still hadn't blamed me. They thought I might cave. Texts started again. "Just a little help. Ethan's trying too. Please, Mason," I answered with one word. No. No drama, no lecture, just no. Guilt followed. Breakdowns. Accusations I never cared, that I punished her for being younger. Finally, Mom invited me for dinner. Said it wasn't about money, just talk. I knew it was bait, but I went. Wanted to see it. The house felt cold, tense. Like war paused, not ended. My sister didn't come down. Table half covered in bills, half in reheated lasagna. Mom smiled too tight. Dad looked exhausted. We small-talked. Then she leaned in. "We're in a tough spot. Just for a little while. Could you help again?" I didn't yell, didn't get emotional. I said it plain. "You mocked me when I struggled, joked about how I wanted to be important. Meanwhile, I was paying your house, her apartment, your lives, and you acted like I owed it. Never asked how I was. Never said thank you. Just assumed I'd keep going. When Dad brought up family helping each other, I cut him off." "Exactly, I helped. And you threw it in my face." Mom went silent. Dad looked away. I felt calm. Then I said, "I'm hosting a picnic. Just us, 1 month. I'll let you know then, if I'm helping again or if this ends for good." They nodded. I left before dessert. On the way home, I grabbed a burger and just breathed. For once, I didn't feel guilty saying no. The month crawled by. No thanks, no calls, not even Mom's Facebook guilt trips. I thought maybe they were letting go. Then cousin Jeremy called. Was I still doing that family thing? An old neighbor messaged too. Mom had been talking. I knew. They expected a performance, a big apology, maybe even handouts. So I flipped the script, turned the picnic into a job fair, made calls, found openings matching each of them. By the picnic day, I had a folder ready. They showed up overdressed, smiles rehearsed, thought I'd fold. But the table was plain, no music, no extras, just water and sandwiches. 1 chair for me. Then I handed them job leads. My sister laughed, thought it was a joke. Mom asked if I was serious. Dad stayed quiet. I explained. Real offers, real help. They exploded. Sister called it cruel. Mom said condescending. Dad said humiliating. I let them talk. Then I said, "You asked for help. This is help." They packed up and left. I stayed alone, but not lonely. I'd drawn a line they couldn't erase. 3 days later, the clinic called thanking me. My sister had shown up, took the job, started work. I sat there in disbelief, thought she'd trashed the papers. But she went. She showed up. Maybe she complained in group chats, but she worked, which meant one of 2 things. Rock bottom or something shifted. I didn't reach out, just waited. 4 days later, a text started work. "It's fine. Don't get used to me thanking you, but I'm not quitting." No emojis, no fluff, just facts. That spark of stubborn pride, finally useful. I didn't reply. Then Dad called. "That warehouse job still open?" I gave the contact. No lecture. A week later, I heard Mom had taken the prep kitchen job, quietly under a different last name. No one asked me for money anymore. They knew. A month later, I messaged the old family group chat. Follow-up picnic. Same spot Saturday. Come if you want. No replies. But they came. Sister in scrubs. Dad looking like he'd been lifting boxes. Mom in a windbreaker, no jewelry, no performance. We sat. I told them the truth. I'm not paying bills anymore. Earning more doesn't mean I owe more. Love isn't measured in wire transfers. No arguments. They just listened. When they left, no one blamed me. The days after stayed quiet, but peaceful this time, like something finally settled. Then the signs appeared. Sister posted her ID badge, no caption, just real. Dad texted, got forklift certified today. Simple, direct. Late one night, Mom emailed, we didn't realize how much we relied on you until we had to rely on ourselves. We're trying. No drama, no manipulation, just honesty. I didn't reply. Didn't need to, because here's the truth. When you stop carrying people, they don't always collapse. They adapt. They figure it out. Now my sister's working, taking classes. Dad hasn't missed a shift. Mom's helping in the kitchen she once looked down on. And me, I'm finally keeping what I earn. Not hoarding, just not bleeding to feel worthy. I booked a solo trip. One way, no return date. Funny how everything had to break before anything real began. They don't mock me now. Don't beg, don't pretend. They're busy rebuilding, and I'm free, not just financially, but free from believing sacrifice was the price of love. I thought that was the ending. But last week, I ran into my sister at a coffee shop. Scrubs on, groceries in hand. She looked tired but solid. She sat. No drama, just small talk. Before leaving, she said quietly, you were right, we needed it, all of it. A few days later, Dad sent a picture of a grill, bought with his paycheck. That's what he wrote. And Mom emailed a food drive flyer, not asking for money, just asking me to share it. They don't need me the same way anymore, and for once I'm okay being just her son, just a brother, just Mason.